See my sister Natasha, she's fine. Now, human being fresh like this.
Good evening, Daddy Freeze. Good evening, Nigerians.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I have one very special person here with me, and it happens to be the one and the only Natasha. How do you pronounce your surname?
Akpoti.
Akpoti. You know, in Yoruba, it is Akpoti. Do you speak Yoruba?
I understand a little bit because I schooled, I had my secondary education at Federal Government College, Idoani, Ondo State.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
I understand a little bit of Yoruba, but I don't speak. Apart from the pleasantries like Baoni, Shedadani, and all of that.
Sounds so good. It sounds on you. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm blushing. I'm talking to a big celeb. I want to
really, I'm just ordinary Natasha.
Ordinary Natasha. Anyway, today we're talking about women in politics. We're also talking about your very famous quote or tweet that went viral today. And we're also talking about difficulties mixed race people generally face in Nigerian politics and in Nigeria in general, discrimination and all that. Yeah. So if you're ready, let me know.
I'm ready. I'm ready for you.
Are you really ready?
Fully. Bring it on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're live on the radio on 99.3 Nigeria Info. So I'm going to try to keep it as calm as possible. You know, things can very quickly go haywire, and that's not our intention. So please bear with me. Things can go over the top very quickly. But it's a wonderful opportunity to have Natasha here. I'm very proud of my sister. She has done very, very well. It's not easy for a woman to be in politics. It's also not easy for a woman that doesn't look like the typical
Nigerian.
Yeah. You know, I speak fluent Yoruba. So maybe that's what's helped me. Maybe I see myself as a Nigerian. So it kind of.
I speak my native dialect, Ibira, quite well.
Okay, say something to us in Ibira.
Irehaore. I'm like, what is your name?
Oh, wow. Wow.
I speak Ibira quite well because I grew up there. I grew up in Ihima, Okene district. So my...
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud to know that you're actually a Nigerian, not just because you are saying you're Nigerian, because you actually are a Nigerian. Identifying with Nigeria, somebody's already making fun of us saying Somalia. If not, don't be you supposed to cry.
People do call me like, you know, I have got Asian eyes, so Chinese growing up, they used to call me Chinese. So I had to apply a little of makeup to give me the open-eyed look. If I don't have makeup on, then I just have this very slit eyes, like, oh, she's got Asian eyes. So it's okay. Somalians and the Chinese, they're part of the world, right? It's a global community.
Sadly, I don't know where we go from this notion, this ideology that really is very destructive, if I'm permitted to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, Natasha Akpoti, the SDP gubernatorial candidate in Kogi State. Wow. What took you into politics?
Dear need to serve my people, state, and country. That's in summary. I just wanted a space to put in maximum impact in the shortest time. Because before getting into politics, I used to advocate for the revival of the moribund steel company, which is a Jakarta steel company in Kogi State there. And
Okay.
thankfully to that, advocacy drew the government's attention. And now we have $1.45 billion in the kitty for its resuscitation. So that's it. So I didn't thought that, okay, if it could take me and my people 5 years to advocate for the importance of the steel sector in stirring up the economy, job generations, revenue generations, then maybe if I hold an office as a senator or as a governor, in that time, with that authority, with the content and character, I would be able to sum up a lot of impact and help turn around our economy for the better. But unfortunately, we seem to have the worst of us ruling the best of us time after time. And are we surprised that Nigeria is, are we
Okay.
surprised that we're in this
Let,
mess
let's
now?
best. Things can get heated very quickly in this
Let's
part,
get it heated.
especially.
Daddy, as a Dr. Freeze, Daddy Freeze, we have to say the truth sometimes. You cannot sugarcoat it. I'm not proud. Nigeria ought to be greater than what it is right now. It's actually shameful that we sit back here and appreciate Ghana, talk about Rwanda, talk about South Africa. Well, and then this is Nigeria we're talking about. I mean, in the 70s, we actually lent money to Ireland. The South Africa, many countries' economy grew from Nigeria. So we should actually be a world power. So there's no mincing words here. Let's not play cool. Let's speak truth. Let's speak truth and stir up minds. We need to liberate the minds of people against 2023. So don't sugarcoat anything. Please, let's get it on.
With a smile, you are trying to scatter the whole everywhere. Or, okay, just know that you have an off button. So you go, there's something you say, I don't play, you just disappear.
No. I'm sure our people are going to protest. Bring her back on. Bring her back on.
Guys, please, let's talk about flowers and trees and all the nice things before we go into the
Okay.
things. You were born in 1979. I did a bit of reading up on you. Where were you born?
Ilorin, Kwara State. My dad was a doctor there at the General Hospital, Lafia. And yeah, he had me there. My mom had me there. So,
was your dad a doctor too?
Yes, a medical doctor. He studied medicine in USSR. He studied medicine in USSR, and that's where he met my mom. My mom is Ukrainian, and I'm the second born of 4, the only girl. I have 3 beautiful children. I'm not married.
Yeah.
But I hope to be married soon.
Beautiful. Okay, you stole all. I was supposed to ask you the questions in progression, but you just answered all together.
Because there's something I've got my, what's it called, the third eye on, very sharp on my 6th sense. So I could already read you like, okay, what next do you want to ask?
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to also talk about not being married and the discrimination you would probably face. And trust me, you don't need to even nod your head. I know what it feels like to even be divorced and remarried. You will still get for failing at a marriage. First of all, let me put this straight. Nobody ever fails at a marriage. They upgrade out of that marriage. Nobody fails at marriage. If it's not working, it means there was no compatibility. And if you have kids out of the union, or if you guys were able to grow a business together, or if you even if you went through the learning process and came out a better person, you didn't fail at marriage. I absolutely abhor the narrative that they try to peddle in this country and make people who are suffering in marriages better than those who are brave enough, less hypocritical, and strong enough to walk out of really messy, smelly situations.
You're right, doctor. I said, why do I keep calling you doctor? Daddy Freeze. You are right, Daddy Freeze. And it's usually tougher for women. Our society tends to blame the woman for any breakup in a marriage. We're just at the receiving end. Nobody gives the benefit of doubt that, oh, maybe things didn't go well. Maybe she suffered some domestic abuse. Maybe she had bigger dreams that her partner couldn't fathom. Maybe there was a lot of, but no one tends to look at the other side. But like you rightly said, it's about an upgrade in life. Marriage is partnership. It's a contract. Marriage is supposed to bring the very best of both people. And without a doubt, I love the institution and I respect the institution marriage. Growing up as a little girl, it was my dream to get married and have 4 children. I never thought I was going to be famous. Sorry?
What now happened?
Yeah, and then life happened. But one thing I have
how did
one
life
thing
happen?
Yeah,
luckily my own story is everywhere, so I don't need to explain too much.
Your own. Funny enough, I don't really I haven't taken time to read about your own personal story. Maybe because here, I think that's just a Lagos thing, maybe. But here we don't really, I just focus on you as a person and the good work you do, and that's it. So now back to the marriage thing. Yeah, and when I got into politics, first, before I got into politics, when I left my marriage, I knew for certain I wasn't in a good place. And because I wasn't in a happy place, it was affecting my output as a mother. Because you see, and that's one thing to many women who manage bad marriages, thinking, I'm doing it for the children, forgetting that the children are like sponges. They look at the mother's face every day. If she's sad, if she's crying, they take a bit of that. Do you understand, in them? And it also affects the morale of these children. It also goes into affecting their output academically. So I thought about it. I said, you know what? I don't want to have children. I don't want to have children who would feel, should I say, incomplete emotionally and psychologically because of what they experienced at home. So, and I knew that healing my children starts from healing myself. And then that's how I spoke to my partner, and then we just separated. We got divorced. But then when I got into politics, and I lived my life well, I worked very hard. I put in all of my energy into developing myself. And that was when I started my Ajakota's advocacy. So I didn't even have time to date. I was just work, and all until I got into politics. So when I got into politics, I got a bit of concern there because some of my party executives called on me. And it was funny here. They were like, Natasha, because Kogi is termed the North, right? North Central. Okay, Natasha, you're a female politician and you're a contestant for the seat of Senate. That's the first office. And you are single. Don't you want to consider getting married before the election? I just felt like, is marriage supposed to be like a fixed thing? I remember asking, can I just bring someone and just like sign a contract if that's what you want? Just fill in the dots. I mean, that's how they were like, Natasha, we are serious about it. Because they said many women, they want women to have a role model who is married, who fits and ticks all the dots of an ideal woman. But I had to let them understand that, look, don't think that I enjoy being single. Hey, I don't like lonely nights. I want someone I can share my dreams, my fears, my joys with. But I will not just go to the street and pick that person because I'm a wholesome deal. And I need someone that will complement my philanthropy, complement my innovative, creative ideas, complement my adventurous spirit. I'd love to travel around the world. So I don't want to try and fail again at marriage just because I want to fit in the box of being a married woman in politics. So I told them, you know what? I trust my people. Then I'm talking about this first election, which is the senatorial. I trust my Kogi Central people. And I know that they have enough faith in me because we had for 5 years pursued the advocacy of Ajakuta still. And I know that being married is not a criteria for good leadership. Otherwise, look at Nigeria. We have all had married men. And why are we in such a mess? So it tells you that marriage is, and I made a joke. It's true, Daddy Freeze. And I made a joke. I say, hey, moreover, when I get into the Senate, there's not going to be the issue of senators having girlfriends. It's going to be just Natasha there, So I'm going to save more money. It's all about, I talked about it the funny way. But the good thing is, my marital status didn't come up as a big issue when I started campaigning. And only from the opposition, I could see whenever any post came that, oh, why don't you go get married and manage your home first before you can prove to us that you can manage a position of authority. Then I got my supporters, which God bless them. They just countered that. I was like, you know what? We love her that way. Let her be single. In due time, she's going to definitely find a man. But yeah, it's something I look forward to. There is nobody yet. I'm not, I don't know how to put it. Should I say I'm searching? I'm not searching. I'm just enjoying my space. And when it happens, it will happen.
Okay. There's a lot I also need to talk about because marriage came, the divorce, and marital topic came up recently and was all over the place, and I was smack dab in the middle of it, and it caused a whole, how do I put it, I can almost say the whole country was shaking over what started off as me not agreeing to be stereotyped for my first marriage ending. I used to say I failed at marriage before, but now I've adjusted my mind space, and I've adjusted. I didn't fail at marriage. I upgraded. I moved on. It wasn't working. And in the space that I am today, I don't see my ex in the space that I am today. I'm in a space of leadership. I'm in a space of forging ahead. I'm in a space where we're shaking the foundations of what was the status quo. And if the woman that is beside me is not courageous, is not intellectually superior and powerful, we're not going anywhere. I need
Definitely.
who I'm facing the world, and the person is not beside me telling me, why did you do that? Why did you say this?
I tell you.
Give me that look, I believe in you. Because the way this battle is, we might go out and knock home one day. There's that possibility, and we've got to be able to address it and deal with it head on. Life is not certain, especially when you're standing against what was the status quo. Yes. And history is very kind to those who did not bend because of the pressure. So I understand where you're coming from. And many people have said you have no right to speak on marriage because you failed at marriage. There's nothing worse than that. I need to tell you that the Pope is not married, and
that's good. That's some refreshing news.
Reverend fathers are not married, and they counsel married people. Paul, John the Baptist, Christ, Elijah were not married. Mary and Martha, who followed Christ everywhere, were not married. Are we going to say that they had no knowledge at all of marriage? Christ only was around for 3 years. That is, his ministry lasted 3 years, between when he was 30 and 33. And he dished out a lot of advice on marriage. Paul was never married, and he wrote most of the New Testament. So that narrative where someone has to be in a marriage for 40 years, you don't know whether it's sweet or not, before they can give advice on marriage, that narrative needs to die. Because many people, like you were saying, they said, oh, go and fix a marriage. Anybody can fix a marriage, just to come and show the world, because that's what the world wants to see.
Yeah, just get somebody and get married just to fit into that, without thinking about my happiness and my dreams, whether we actually synchronize in thoughts, in actions, in energies. It's a whole lot.
Okay.
But let me say this, Daddy Freeze.
Yeah.
In my heart, if you know the typical, I grew up, my dad and my mom lived together until my dad passed away. And my mom did not leave Nigeria. She stayed back to take care of us, you know, and still remind us of the dreams my father had for the people and all, and why he stayed here and sacrificed so much of himself for our people. So I would not be happy. I hope this is not against God's wish, but I wouldn't be happy if I stayed unmarried. Seriously, I love the institution marriage. I love it. I love it. But I'm not going to just choose anyone or just date anyone. No, I will not. I will not.
Very beautiful. When you have a partner who loves you and understands you. I'm there, so I know what I'm talking about. You see, somebody was telling me that all the people I mentioned were not divorced. Can we talk about Abraham that was polygamous and had concubines? Can we talk about Jacob, who married 2 sisters and their maids? Can we talk about David, who had tons of women, so many women that he left 10 of his concubines behind to watch over the palace? And when he took Bathsheba from her husband, the prophet Nathan came and said, if you had wanted more wives, you should have just asked God. What about Solomon that had 1,000 women? And between David and Solomon, they wrote most of the Proverbs and Psalms that you people use today. Why are we not using them? The institution of marriage is a very beautiful institution. But listen, if someone is divorced, it doesn't stop their political prowess. Look at this beautiful lady. She speaks so well. She speaks so intelligently. She doesn't need to have a man before I take her seriously. So
I can see people saying they want to talk about politics.
Yeah, we're moving.
Some comments here.
We're going to end in politics. There's no rush. Calm down.
Calm down.
Calm down. There's no rush. We need to deal. Yes. Okay, we need to deal with all the issues on ground. Okay, we're going to take a quick break on the radio and come right back. So don't you dare touch it. A quick break on the radio and we'll be back at you. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty. So sorry about that. We're having a quick break on the radio. Let me get the right lighting right, so you don't look all radiant and I look like the poor relation. All right. So like I was saying, back to what I was saying, we need to be able to look beyond this marriage thing. It is very annoying. You have no idea. People lose the opportunity to rule because they're not picked on the ability to rule, but on human sentiments. Is he married? The ones that are married, what have they done? Have we ever been ruled by a divorcee or an unmarried woman? If it is by
Daddy Freeze, I forgot to add something.
Yes.
When I joined politics, I was also advised that when I want to look for a husband, I should get a husband that is wealthy and influential. So it actually came with a criteria, and I was like, so if I find love in an ordinary man, he wouldn't fit it. And I'm like, no, that, you know, they now mentioned names of names of some female senators now who got in there through the support of their husbands, you know, or because their parents were wealthy. And they were like, look, Natasha, your dad wasn't wealthy. You're from like a poor background. So you need a rich husband to complement you. So it was like, I wasn't just enough. I mean, that's on the my top party hierarchy level that discussion took place. So I had to get married to a rich man. It doesn't matter even if you're second, third wife, just let that name be there.
No, we need to, Natasha.
Yes.
If that I personally would never talk to you again, I'll block you on all social media. No, because you cannot change if you bend the knee to the status quo.
Yeah, I know. That's why I stood my ground.
You've got to be able to stand away from conventional thinking. You are you. You are you because you're smart, you're intelligent, you're vocal, you're opinionated, you know what you're doing, you're passionate, you're dedicated, not because you're married to some old man, not because you're a second wife to some. Anybody can be a second or third wife if they're good looking, but can just anybody lead a state in Nigeria?
No.
So one of the things that you're doing, aside your political aspiration, is the fact that you're changing the status quo, and you must not lose that battle. That's my own message to you. You must continue being fearless. Now you're like my skin color. Right now we've been called Somalians already. 2 minutes into the show, we're Somalians and all that. Have you ever been discriminated against simply because you're mixed race?
Yes. Like I said, especially during the campaign season, I was told, oh, I should go to my mother's country and contest, that I wasn't welcome. I'm not Nigerian enough. I'm not Nigerian enough, that we have not exhausted all the Nigerians in electoral offices. So there's no space for me. That if I think I have anything to contribute, I should go to Ukraine and contest there. So I felt a bit, I didn't feel that was very wrong. You know, racism actually exists in Nigeria, but we don't talk about it. And we don't talk about it. And I find mixed race kids, we tend to face that a lot. Even growing up, I used to hate the word Oyibo, Pepe. In short, I used to be so shy. I used to shy away from running errands for my mom, because the moment I step out of our compound, I would have kids of my age who ordinarily I would want them to play with me, play barefoot, you know. They would just shout, oh, Oyibo Pepe, look, Pepe. And then they would just accompany me to where I'm going. And I would just feel so bad and horrible. Sometimes I would stop and say, leave me alone. I'm not Oyibo. Leave me. I'm not Oyibo. And then I didn't like that at all. So, yeah. But I hope we will get over that, and we will not be judged by our skin color. Because, I mean, we're Nigerians, right? I don't think we should be judged by our skin color. Obama, sometimes it made me wonder, if Obama were to be a Nigerian, would he have been president? So when Obama was contesting there and he won, Nigerians were also happy. Yeah, Obama, a black man there. But then you now bring someone like that and say, okay, let the person contest for the seat of president. Will you bring up his mother's or his father's race in? So I think we should do away with racism. It doesn't speak well. We should focus more on the individual. Let me tell you how Nigeria should be. Sometimes, you know, there are lots of Lebanese in Nigeria. Some Lebanese that were even born, like full father, mother Lebanese, but they were born in Nigeria. They speak Hausa fluently or Yoruba fluently or Igbo fluently. These kids should be allowed to rule, to contribute their own quota, either as local government chairmen, as commissioners, as governors. Do you know right now in the UK, there are about 7 Nigerians in the UK parliament? In Australia, there is one of the senators in Australia is a Kenyan lady, like black Kenyan lady. We saw in Canada, a Nigerian, an Igbo gentleman was made a judge in a county, right?
Yes.
So an attorney general in a county. So if we celebrate black people, like pure black people occupying prominent positions of authority in a white man's land, then we should be open to having pure white people occupying positions in our country, because they do have content and something impactful to contribute in reforming our social political space. We need to stop thinking, no, you must be pure black, your hair must be extremely kinky, you must look this way before you can contribute. Because you know what? If we keep on stereotyping our democracy or our positions of authority, then we're going to cheat ourselves of the very best. That's it.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of the way you answered that. I was also discriminated against as a child, and also even recently. And A lot of people will tell you, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. Not because you don't know what you're talking about, but because you don't look like them. And I find that very, very wrong. And I find something we need to work on. Nigeria has been ruled by Nigerians all this while, and I don't see the impact Nigerians have made ruling. Maybe it's high time people who are mixed race or people who are a totally different race but have Nigerian passports can begin to
come
rule.
in and bring the best. Yeah.
You know, merit is, I believe in merit. Are you in that political position because you deserve to be there, or because you are a quota system that pushes you there even if you're not qualified? So we need to be able to look beyond color, tribe, religion. And I don't see us looking beyond these things in the near future. That is why we need people like you to stand up and fight on behalf of us.
Yeah, right. We just one question I've got people ask a lot of time, like, okay, Natasha, what next? What next? Even though I have taken a back seat from politics for now, and I'm focusing on my private businesses that have suffered tremendously. And but one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a platform where I'm going to tour the country for the next 2 years and sensitize a lot of young people so they could have their voters card. Because one thing I realized is we have a lot of politically aware people, but they are not politically active. Now, let me tell you what the difference is. Politically aware, you can tell us discussions, what's happening. APC, PDP, SDP, and COP and all of that. You know who the governor is, you know who is running for presidency. But then politically active, they don't even have their PVCs. Or when it's time to vote, they don't travel home. They don't contribute to discussions. They don't issue out petitions. They don't take proactive steps to ensure that every little thing, every little thought they've had, every beer parlor discussion, every classroom discussion comes out to reality. That's one thing I've realized with the young people. Because there was a time I visited a particular university, I'm not going to call this name, but I have gone around universities offering entrepreneurship seminars and stirring up their interest in politics. And I asked them, it was a hall of over 500. I was like, okay, most of you here are going to be graduating in the next few years. You know, there are no jobs. You are entering into a market that is unemployed, but there are no jobs for you. They said, yes. How happy are you with the government? Many of them passed their comments negatively. I said, okay, what steps are you going to, what do you think is your role in ensuring you have the kind of leader that will create the enabling environment for your success? And they were like, they didn't understand what I meant. I said, okay, how many of you have your PVCs here? In a hall of about 500, not up to 50 students had PVCs. Not up to 50 in a hall of 500. And then I asked, okay, you 50s, do you intend traveling to your post of your local government, you know, where they were registered to vote? And most of them said no. So now here it is. In Nigeria today, I can tell you approximately we have over 30 million students. Let's talk about the students alone. That's a number large enough to vote in any president. And let me tell you, when the parents in the villages see that their children at home, in schools, are active, they get home, you know, from school, they travel all the way from Nasarawa or BUK or University of Ibadan home and say, Mom, I'm here to vote. And you, grandma, grandpa, dad and mom, you go with me and vote this candidate. You will see the turnout. But that is going to happen when we sensitize the young people to be more active, to come out and protest if they're not happy. It's okay. I'm looking forward to a time where Nigerian students all around the country will pass a protest on a particular issue and stand by it. Because that's where the power is. I don't know if you remember the issue of Ali Must Go. Have you heard about the case of Ali Must Go when it was in the early 80s, a particular minister increased the feeding allowance for stipend for students for 50 kobo. So the students all over Nigeria said they were not going to, they were going on strike. They were protesting. No classes, nothing. And then they insisted that the president should reverse that order. 50 kobo increase. And then the president reversed that order. He said, okay, students, resume, go back to class. They said, no, that minister must resign. They thought it was a joke. Students at all universities in Nigeria, students were not going to class, and until that minister resigned. That's the power the young people have. So I bet you, if Nigerian youths can come together, irrespective of race, you know, gender, ethnicity, religion, and say, you know what, we just want a better Nigeria. We just want to end poverty. We want jobs created. We want our country industrialized. We are tired. We want to be among the top 5 countries in the world. Then we will see. And the power is in the young people. That's where it is. But we just need to sensitize them because they're a bit lost. They're a bit confused. The young people are a bit disoriented because they've watched what's been happening, all the institutions from INEC to the judiciary to the police, how sometimes they think their votes don't count. But hey, it's okay if you feel your votes don't count, did not count the last time. But we can't give up on Nigeria. This country is ours to build. And it's the future of Nigeria truly, truly depends on the young people. So come together. If you want to go to the street to shut down the streets, do so in numbers. If you're 5, 10, 20 of you, yeah, they will shoot you. But if you're coming your thousands, 100,000, 1 million on the street, say, you know what, this is what we want, I bet you the government is going to listen because you are the real government. So I believe in Nigeria is going to be great tomorrow. And I believe the young people are going to be sensitized enough that they will understand their rights in shaping the country of their dreams. And I'm going to work with them closely.
Absolutely. Somebody here was saying just before you came on, the person was like, who PVC help? All of you are voting for Big Brother. Lakon is doing so well because of your... Those who got evicted because of your votes. You say, we sit in our house and we press our phone and vote in Big Brother. Why can't it be like that? Alexander the Great did not sit in his house pressing his phone and conquer the world. Sometimes you've got to get up, go out and get your hands dirty. If you're not ready...
Let's talk about dirty politics. Maybe you want to talk about dirty politics.
We're going there. We're eventually going there. I'm a bit worried because I can see you are fire for fire. So but I need this to be resounded because while you're speaking, I'm reading the comments. And someone's like, please, who did PVC help? You see, many of you are looking for a revolution. You want the Nigeria of your dreams, but you're not ready to stand. You're looking for who will fight the revolution for you. So when the revolution has been won, you just come and claim the victory. It doesn't work like that. You're not going to be part of the glory if you don't say your story.
Every war has its own spoils. There are casualties in every war. And you have to be ready that if it's you, then fine. If you had followed my campaign, especially my senatorial campaign, every time I went on tour, there were gunshots. There was no time I went on tour to campaign that I didn't have about 10 of my supporters shot at close range. It was like guns, charms thrown at me, and all at us, and all of that. But I made up my mind that, you know what, I'm not backing out. I'm going to run this race to the end because I knew that I was going to inspire a lot of people. And if I backed out of fear or intimidation, then I will not have a lot of young people will be, oh, she backed out. She didn't do it to the end. It was probably too scary. But because I went to the end, I knew I was going to motivate. But it's really, really, if you want, like you said, and if you want to have a better Nigeria, you need to know it doesn't come pretty. Look at what happens to Mali. Look at the protests in Lebanon. All around the world, we see people come up. Even Hong Kong then, at the time, they were sleeping on the streets for 3 months. Are we ready? How ready are you to have a changed Nigeria? So it's not about speaking on Instagram. Of course, I can see some comments. Oh, it's not on Instagram. Yes, it's not on Instagram, but this is a part to it. We're speaking, you're listening. After this, you go back to your little group, speak to your friends, your churches, your mosques, your communities, You pass the message. What do? We all have a role to play, no matter how small. And then collectively, we build a community and then assign roles. And that's how things grow. But it starts with words, listening, and then actions to follow up.
Okay, wonderfully put. You are trending in the news today. I saw your beautiful picture on Sahara Reporters and on Linda Ikeji's blog. Ada Obi and I were talking about it earlier on. Ada, you remember our conversation? You remember our conversation? So we got this from Linda Ikeji's blog, and we want to ask you about your opinion regarding politics in Nigeria. First of all, do you think the politics in Nigeria is free and fair?
No, it's not free and fair. It's not free and fair.
Is this you are making because you heard other people or because you witnessed this yourself?
I witnessed it myself on different fronts. I witnessed it myself. Okay, let me say this. For politics, for democracy to thrive, there are institutions that act in its support, in its growth, and all that. We have INEC, we have the police that has a role in ensuring it's a violent election or campaign time will be violent free. We have the judiciary that will then review the petitions brought before and on the merits of the case, try to decide whether it was a free, fair election or it needs to be redone. But in Nigeria, what is happening? I'm not even going to mince my words. And Dr. Freeze, Daddy Freeze, please don't mute me. Nigerians, if you can't hear my voice, just know Daddy Freeze has muted me. All the institutions that are responsible in upholding Nigeria's democracy by ensuring free and fair elections are corrupt. All. All. And it is in such a way that when I don't know whether it's sheer intimidation or fear for the powers in authority, because what I tend to see is when it's PDP, you have the police, you have the DSS, you have INEC tilting towards that. When it's now APC, they all tilt towards that. So what that means is, and probably tomorrow if it's SDP, we might now have all these same institutions tilting towards SDP, and that is wrong. These institutions are supposed to be strong and independent, that even if the president is wrong, they should be able to say, you know what, you, Mr. President, Mr. Governor, whoever, you are not.
I'll be wrong. It is president. Oh, Lord. Okay, let me keep.
No, I'm telling you, that's what happens. You must have strong institutions. And our institutions are very weak. They all look up, you know, okay, let's say there's what is called the separation of powers, the executive, judiciary, and the legislature, right? The presidency, police, governors form part of the executive, all right? But what we have in Nigeria is the executive is so strong that it consumes every other. Right now, we don't have an independent legislature. The legislature looks up to what they can't checkmate the executive, because they have been consumed by the executive. The judiciary cannot checkmate the executive. The judiciary has been consumed by the executive. So that is wrong. And if we must have a free and fair election and ensure that our democracy grows progressively, then we must have independent, strong institutions that will stand and say, you know what, this Kogi State governorship election was rigged, there was a lot of violence, and these go contrary to what the Electoral Act stipulates in pronouncing a valid election. So therefore, we're going to cancel that. But what happened? Our petitions were thrown and struck off, but forgetting that the international community and all other international organizations that served as observers made their own observations and notes. And we're like, hey, we all saw that election. That's the worst in history. I mean, you all saw how the police helicopter. No, Daddy Freeze, no, I'm speaking. We all saw how the police helicopter was flying and throwing
Eh,
tear gas down and gunshots and co. And that was, I'm not surprised that the US issued a ban on the Kogi state government and all others that were responsible in rigging the Kogi election. I'm not surprised. And I'm so glad that today, Daddy Freeze, did you pause me?
you are there. Nobody paused you. Even pause
exactly. They said, let her
because
talk.
I get out
So
of hand.
I'm also very glad. I'm also very glad that I'm very glad that I saw the UK that if they are playing with this. So
Nobody's playing with it. Continue what you're saying.
and I also am glad that the UK government is following suit with regards to, seizing properties that are owned by individuals who are known to have stampeded our democracy. Yeah, so I've seen some opinions that, oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, what is America? What is UK? Well, if you understand the position Nigeria has as a developing country, and if you also understand the importance of having strong allies to help grow your economy, you will then appreciate the UK and the US amongst other world powers in helping you shape your foreign policies as well, as much as they affect your internal space. So I'm really glad for this move, and I hope that ban is extended to all the principal chiefs of the security agencies that were involved and INEC itself, because it's about time. It's about time. When I was growing up as a little girl, right, I had this Nigeria of my dreams. It wasn't this bad, but we're then in the military era. So we had these beautiful ideas of democracy where your voice will matter. And then there came SDP Abiola and NRC Tofa. And we all witnessed as a wave how MK Abiola just came in. It was like a dream. I remember the song till today. I still have the jingle in my head. So I thought that was the same thing politics was going to be. But when I got in, Daddy Freeze, are we going to talk about the charms? Do you know? Oh my God.
Tell me about your experience with the charms.
I mean, charms, like charms, like juju. Like juju, they'll actually approach you. I'm like, Natasha, you are coming into this space. It's not, you can't just come. It's not English we speak. Oh, you have to do this. You have to do that. You have to do that. At first, I was like taking offense. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. So I didn't realize that a friend of mine now advised me, or my campaign team advised me, like, you know what? It's rude to just tell them no. But I just said, okay, I have heard. Thank you. Okay, I have heard, thank you. You understand? And then I was just like, okay, thank you. You said I should do this, fine. And sometimes they come very weird, bury this, bury that alive. I'm telling you, it's crazy. So, but when I see,
the juju you did it work?
Juju, I didn't do the juju, but I'm telling you. I'm just telling you what they do. Like, they just tell you, you have to do this, you have to throw this into the ocean, into the river, you have to bury this, that, if you do. So when we lost our, after the senatorial election was rigged and went to tribunal, each time we lost at the court, you see why we're losing, because you don't want to sacrifice these things. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with sacrifices.
Tell me, what sacrifice? Human beings?
No, they didn't tell me human beings, but they were like more like, they would like, okay, just get black cows and bury the cows alive, get a pregnant bull, do this with that, throw 5 bulls into the river in the night, do this, do that. I mean, really scary things. Sorry?
How do you throw a whole bull inside the river?
That is, I'm just telling you what my eyes, so what I was told. So I don't know how they do it. But what I know is when they talk about this, when they tell me this, it just made me understand that maybe this is what is being done against me. But that just strengthened my faith in God and made me I meditate a whole lot. I meditate a lot. So I started meditating, getting into my inner self, putting out positive energy and saying, no matter what evil is going to get to me, I rebuke it. So I was constantly in that prayer space. I tried not to have any evil thought in my heart and I just found that I was just being saved time after time after time. One thing I realized, I contested without a godfather. And I want to encourage every young person that is entering politics, you don't need a godfather. I will say this. When I got in, people called me, oh, Natasha, why don't you approach, you know, should I mention this?
No, please, oh,
why
please,
don't
oh.
you approach this one? Why don't you approach this one? They'll sponsor you. Why don't you approach this one? I just sat down. I said, if I approach, I want to be, then I want to be a leader. I want to be different. I want my voice to belong to the people. I don't want to get into the Senate or become a governor. And then before I make a decision, I have to ask someone, does this policy conform with what you want? Or I'll just be there as a puppet, because most of the politicians we have today in the legislature, they're all puppet. They were sponsored by someone. So their voices are owned by someone. That's why they don't represent the people. Wait, that one say you're a lying girl. I'm sure that's So that is why I contested without having a godfather. During my senatorial campaign election, I opened a crowdfunding account and I got about 11 million from the people. But most of that, of course, I was very grateful. I had a lot of t-shirts donated at my gates. I would see like 2,000 t-shirts, 20,000 posters. I got 15 vehicles donated. My 2 horses were donated, because when I got into SDP, I had a problem with the party logo. You know, in a short time, the 2 popular parties were APC and PDP, and I needed to help the people visualize what the SDP White Horse logo was. So I got horses. So a lot of it was by support, but of course, most of my savings went into it as well. And I didn't feel bad for what happened, because I didn't have to sell any of my properties, and neither did I have to take any loan. So I worked within my space, and I would tell people that, look, anyone going into politics, you don't need a godfather. If you want to be a true representation of your people's concern, then you must ensure that your voice is pure, without any bottleneck. That's it. It's tough, but we can do it. Because you see, this godfatherism, it has cost Nigeria's democracy a whole lot of setback. A whole lot of setback. A whole lot. Because most of these godfathers, they will not put an opinionated, assertive leader. They look for the weaklings there. They look for people they can control. And most weaklings, I'm sorry to say this, they are not proactive in their thoughts. They are not very intelligent. So if you know you have the heart of leadership, you have the mind, you have the charisma, you have the courage, you have the content and capacity and all of those fancy words, just give it a try. Get your people to support you, campaign, sell your ideas, sell your vision, have town hall sessions, put your manifesto up right, interact with people, and then get on. You don't need a godfather. I just want to have a Nigeria whereby we do, just like how you talk about the big brother Nigeria, people just sit down. I hope we're going to have some of our electoral processes advanced to a point whereby with our BVN from the comfort of our homes, we can vote. We can do that. Yeah, we don't need to queue up and have all these, the PVCs and all that will be rigged. We can download an app, put in either your international passport, your BVN, and then you vote. And then right there electronically it'll be counted. If we can have all that and do it with godfathers, it will reduce the cost of election. It will reduce it, because it cost me a whole lot for you to contest right now. I know some people have asked, if you want to contest for Senate, how much should you have? If you want to contest for governor, what's your anticipated figure budget, right? Well, I would say it depends on the state. Some states are more expensive than the others. If it's up north, it's not that, like Sokoto, Katsina, I'm sure with like 100 million, it will be enough for you to campaign and contest. But a state like Kogi should have over 500 million for the Senate. Then governorship should be close to billions. I didn't really spend much in my governorship because I was disqualified for a while. I was only allowed on the ballot a week to the election. If you recall that freeze, I don't know if you followed that up. I was disqualified. The election was on the 16th, and it was on the 7th of November that the Federal High Court ruled that I'm supposed to be on the ballot. Then I wanted to campaign. INEC said I was not yet going to be on the field until they received the judgment of the court, which was now delivered to them on the 10th. So by and large, I had very few days. I couldn't even campaign, nothing. And then my very first day, the SDP office was burnt down. You remember, it was burnt down. And then when I went to sign the peace pact, I was beaten up. I wasn't even allowed in there. And the IG of police was in Lokoja, yeah.
Physically beaten up.
Physically beaten up by the thugs, right? Standing it was a hotel called Idrinana Hotel in Lokoja. The Inspector General of Police was in the hall. The Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, INEC chairman, was there. All the chiefs of the security all the security agents were there. The place had over 200 policemen, and right there were about 20 thugs, 15, 20 thugs, right there behind me. So when I walked in, I was told the APC candidate was there, Yaya Bello. The PDP candidate, Engineer Wada, was there. So when I was going in, they stopped me. They said I wasn't allowed to go in. And I was like, I was out at the door. I could hear Professor Mahmoud's voice inside. And these guys beat me up. They pushed me to the ground twice. I sustained injury. Till today, even though I got pictures of the snapshot of some of the thugs, I wrote a petition. Till today, they have not been arrested. Nothing has been done to these people. So then you're talking about fairness in what?
You're tell me that in 2020 or 2019, a woman
November.
got physically assaulted during an election.
Yes, in front of the police. I'm telling you, and look, let me tell you I'm not talking about anyhow police. So, you know, whenever the IG of police is in a particular place, he moves with his best. You see them well kitted with their helmets, and wherever the DSS boss is, you see them, all the intelligent officers, you just see them with their different colors. Some had navy blue, some had green uniforms, you know, but all of them with their bulletproof vests. I was even calling on them, like, please help me. And they just stood there. It was almost as if there was an agreement before I got there that, look, if this lady comes in, we're going to harass her and nobody should stop us. So that is why I say that the corruption, even the institutions themselves are corrupt. Then let's ask why these institutions are corrupt. Because some of these people, the workers in this institution, whether it's INEC or Co, they didn't get there on merit. They got there because their uncle, like nepotism. So it keeps on. No, it's true now. I'm telling you, in Nigeria today,
I don't,
freeze.
Because we're live on the radio, I don't want us to make some absolute statements.
What's the worst they can do to me? Arrest me? Fine. And that's what I'm talking about. If we keep on being Daddy Freeze, don't worry, we'll be sad. Are you scared?
Me.
What's the worst they can do? I'm saying the truth. If the police wants to prove, then they should show me the proof of the guys they've arrested. I'm telling you, I was attacked. I made several petitions on that. And nobody did anything. And as a candidate, sorry?
I would love the police to look into that. Let us not feel like we don't have police in this part of the world, especially if it is a woman. If it was a guy, I'll say, okay, whatever. But a woman being beaten up and sustaining injuries,
right there, Daddy Freeze, what I'm not talking about being in a big compound away. Look, the distance between me and the door, like I was going to open the door, it was just like my arm's length. I was here, the door where the IG, the hall, the door leading into the hall where the meeting was going on, the peace pact was about to be signed, was there. And just like arm's length, they heard me. They heard the whole rumble outside. And none of them stood up to say, what's going on? It's now I keep hearing, oh, Natasha, we're sorry. Send your petition over to the headquarters. We're going to look into it.
Wow.
Yeah. But you know what? It's all about, democracy progresses. The challenges we're facing today shouldn't deter us or shouldn't demotivate us. We should just learn from our experiences, strategize better, and forge ahead, right?
Yeah.
It has not broken me down. That is more important. And the message, like all the lessons I've learned, I'm going to pass them on as a message to younger people. And I bet you, if I have more people like me across the country come up with the same ideas, like mavericks, you know, the same strength, the same courage, then it's not going to be just Natasha one-man show. They will have another Natasha in Kano, in Sokoto, in Lagos, in Kwara, in Ogun State, and everybody everywhere, just like a bubbling thing. I believe it can happen. Can't we have a president like Rwanda's? Can't we have, you know, I mean, with due respect, it's possible. It's all possible. But it depends on how serious we are as a people. And if you ask me today, out of all we've been seeing people come up like, oh, maybe this is like some speculations on 2023 presidency. I have not seen anyone that befits the Nigeria we want. We have not seen. We should have someone not more than 55 or maximum not more than 60 come up. Because there's an age gap. When there's a huge age gap, then that person will struggle to relate and connect to the challenges of the young people. Even I myself, Buddy Freeze, I'm 40, right? My first son is 21. My second kid is 14, is going to be 15. And my third is 11, she's going to be 12 in a few months. When these kids are talking about their Google Docs and all this Wi-Fi and some of this robotics, I need to take my time to understand. And then I'm like, wow, so times have changed. Like, even that I think I'm so cool and I'm really up high end with technology, I still realize that there's a whole new world in just this 20, 30 years gap. Not to talk of, you know, way up there. So in choosing our next leader, it's when I'm leaders across, from local government to governors to the presidents, we should ensure that that person is able to understand the fifth industrial revolution, what it entails, Nigeria's position in the global space. How can we stop tagging behind but become leaders through innovation, creativity, collaboration? I mean, there's so much we can do, but we must have this set of leaders, because without it, we as people cannot progress much more than what the leaders know. Do you understand? It's like if you want to go from Abuja to Lagos today, and all you have is a Beetle with an old engine, and then your neighbor wants to go the same distance but with a brand new Mercedes ML, of course we know who's going to get to Lagos. We know who's going to stop at Gwagwalada. So that's the same thing with leadership. We should be, and in choosing the next leader, we have to ask ourselves, can you hand over your business to this person to run with your eyes closed? If the answer is no, then that person does not fit to be your governor or your president. That test must be in you, and we must be honest, unapologetically, whether it's an Igbo man, Ibibio, wherever the person comes from. Let's stop or drop all these sentiments of it's rotation, it's this and all. And who's one thing that annoys me so much, please, with due respect to all the big major ethnic groups, we find whenever rotation, the presidential rotation happens, they talk about the north, the west, and the east. The east, even though the east is almost silent, nobody cares about the Igbo government, the presidency anymore. But then you talk about, they said Nigeria has over 360 ethnic groups. How about the other ethnic groups? What if God said now that the next president of Nigeria will be a Bassa? You know, Bassa is an ethnic group in Kogi. What if one fine man or woman from Bassa, God has said, you are going to liberate Nigeria? What happens to that person? Just because the person is in some minority group. Well, what about a Benue person? Someone from Benue State? Someone from, which other tribe again do we have? Efik. What about an Efik person?
Like Ada Obi, who is right here listening.
No, it's true now. So all this ethnic group. And then tomorrow, they go, Kogi is not. Then if a Kogi person comes up for presidency, the north we're talking about is Sokoto, Kano, and Katsina. Kogi, you're not enough. You're not northern enough.
All right. So we have just 5 more minutes, and I open up the phone lines for the radio station audience, that is people listening to us live on 99.3 Nigeria Info, to put in their calls. Ada?
Yes, Daddy, please.
All right, let's take phone calls.
Okay, 0700 993 993 993. Hello? Hello. All right, Mr. Jeff, please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
As for me, that woman will be my inspiration. I'm a person that always think about investing in Nigeria. For we, the youth, to be liberated, we don't need to run a campaign for the public organization. We need to go back to where the students here to understand. You say, yeah, you are our vote. Because if God continue putting our vote on the market today, that is not good in Nigeria. So I believe that the interest is out there. That is our vote. If not to win an election is your young youth will be your cause. For most of us as a youth, for most of our body is not out in the street. That is not from the benefit of their life. So the teacher and the other generation they understand that the younger people in the West they understand what their life is. So they prefer to use the town that is outside university to influence those that say this only thing for me is annoying. So if you are a candidate that wanted to make it a special election, it work massively on the youth in the best to let them understand that if you do not vote, when you vote, you're able to confuse your parents.
Okay, thank you very much. Please try to keep your calls under 1 minute.
All right, Jeff.
So please tell everybody 1 minute calls. Let's take the next one.
All right, Joe.
Yes,
I'm trying. Let me increase the volume.
Okay.
Hold on. Daddy, please, I'm here. I'm back.
All right. Thank you. Hello? Hello. Good evening. Okay, Ben.
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
and it's interesting to watch has really highlighted. But what I see is that it's how French. So I just
Okay.
How to mobilize installation and mobilization.
All right.
All right, that's as far as we can go.
Okay.
That's as far as we can go. Very wonderful. I have to parting questions. I love interviewing people like you. I didn't have to ask questions. I'm just answering all the questions.
Okay.
Now,
There are a few things I thought about Daddy Freeze, and I hope it's good I say it because I can see, you have a lot of young, rebellious. I like to say rebellious in a good way because you have to think differently and be courageous enough to, act outside the box. Here it is. If we must ensure that we choose leaders of good quality, then we must ensure that the electoral processes are improved. And how can we do that? One, like I said, we must ensure that the electronic voting system is passed. People should be able to vote in a simplified manner. We don't have to use the traditional PVC and voters register and all of that. No, we don't have to. We already have the identity of most people through BVNs, account numbers, national ID cards, international passports, and all of this, even phone numbers. If you can put in all details, then you should be able to vote. And I think that's more credible because with the PVCs, most of them will be hoarded and sold. You see, I remember during elections, a night before, you see PVCs being carried away, and they were just like even PVCs of dead people. They just like swap, swap, swap. You will even see PVCs from Edo State being used in Kogi State, Ekiti State being used in Kogi State. PVCs they just slot in because the machine will be corrupted and it can even take in ordinary papers. So the present electoral process is not good enough to capture people's intentions towards a particular leader. It's not decent enough. I believe if we simplify it with the electronic system, hey, we have technology, and what is technology there if you cannot key into it and improve your life and make processes better? That's one thing. Secondly, it would be good if we can have people call on the National Assembly to eradicate this immunity. I don't understand why governors still have immunity in Nigeria. If we talk about following the American democratic system, the American democracy, they have done away with immunity. Every governor should be ready, should work every day in office with the notion that he can leave, he can be taken to court, and he can leave that seat if he is found in a scandal of corruption or of any of these other vices. But now we're seeing that, I heard the other time they are trying to make the senators, they're trying to pass some immunity for senators, and that's wrong. So we should do away with immunity so that people will know that, okay, once you get into office, it's not 4 years secured. Hey, you can leave even the next month. So that's very important as well. And the registration, the voters card registration should be continuous. INEC should make it continuous, just as every day people turn 18. Do you understand that, Ifriz? If people turn 18 every day, people should be free to walk into the office or any designated INEC office and get themselves registered or registered over the internet. Why should the registration process be stopped for a while and then be opened in a short space? And that's not healthy enough. So it should be continuous. As much as we can go every day and get new international passports, we should also be able to get our voters registration cards every day, get registered every day. So I think but the only people that can actually push for these reforms are the young people. And we should not be afraid. Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one secret. Most of these big men are really scared of the day the masses will rise up intelligently in a unified manner to fight for a purpose. That is one thing most of these big guys are scared of. Now, I'm not against the elite. I'm not against that. Neither am I against people who are wealthy. But I'm just saying that most of these big guys there, some of them who got their wealth illegally, probably by usurping the advantages of the poor people, they are very afraid of the awakening of the common man's mind. And that is what will change Nigeria. So I'm hoping that between now and 2023, we will be able to come together and do away with all of these tricks that have divided us. Oh, he's Igbo. Oh, she's Yoruba. Oh, he's Hausa. Forget about it. Poverty is one. Unemployment is one thing.
Yeah.
What you say?
I said your mixture is you're from Somalia.
Yeah, nobody needs to know all that. Let me tell you, if you travel around Nigeria from the south to the north, east and west, poverty is real. And people are suffering the same vices. Poorly equipped hospitals, bad school, poor educational system, bad roads. Unemployment is on the rise. Nigeria right now, I read that we are the fifth, or the country with the topmost child under 5 mortality rate. Poverty capital of the world, third most terrorized country. Are we proud of this? No. But why are people silent? I know it's tiring to speak, but we have to keep fighting.
Absolutely.
And one more thing again. I want young people. Sorry, Dr. Daddy, please hold on.
I have to back again.
Hold on, no. This is my last sentence.
Oh,
one more thing again. I keep seeing forums being organized by, you know, our good elders, like maybe President Olusegun Obasanjo, God bless him. Professor Pat Utomi, God bless him, Femi Falana, Obi Ezekwelisi. How about young people? I would like to see political forums by 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds. That is what I want. I don't want to be invited to, you know, all of this. I want to be invited to younger political gatherings, because that's where the energy is. That's where the disruptive mindset is. Please, young people should just take over.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was a wonderful time we had with Natasha Akpoti. I hope I got that.
Yes, you got it right.
All right, and we look forward to having you again, definitely. And of course, I'm sure there are people who believe that they have a contrary political opinion or a contrary opinion of what you're saying. They are also welcome right here. It's Live and Dangerous with Daddy Freeze and Ada Blessing on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daddy Freeze.
And trust me, the future belongs to the young. Ada, thank you so much.
Thanks, Nigerians. Bye. Much love. Bye. Okay, you will have to end it. So, Ada, bye. Good night.